We're live. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Megan, how are you?
I'm doing good, and welcome back
Yes,
to
indeed.
another episode of Transatlantic Takedown. We were scheduled to do the show tomorrow, but Derek has other commitments that he has to take care of, so we are doing this a day early on this lovely, sunny Saturday afternoon. Um,
Sunny over there, is it, Megan? Yeah.
it's quite sunny over here now.
Good for you.
Before
Yeah.
we get before we get into the craziness of SmackDown yesterday, um, we're going to touch on AEW's Dynasty
Yeah.
because their pay per view is tomorrow. And although I've been kind of in and out with their show for the last few weeks, I always tune into their pay per views because you never know how crazy the spots are going to be.
Yeah.
They're going
Yeah.
to
Well,
be.
they're kind of killing it this year with the pay-per-views. I've seen a couple of those. I don't, as I've said before here, I'm not staying up to speed on the weekly shows and things, so it kind of passes me by a little bit, and it's something I want to, address going forward. But
Yes.
we have a graphic. We'll just see if this comes up clearly here of some of the, I think this is the full match card for tomorrow night,
Yes.
um,
Yes.
Vancouver. And
Yes. Um, you know, look, let's start from the bottom right side, and we'll just work our way up to the main event. So we
hmm
have Alex Windsor versus Marina Shafir. Um, I I don't think it's for a title. They're just looking to beat each other up, which
yeah,
I'm down for it because I like watching Marina fight and I like watching Alex fight. And although the men that they are affiliated with will be also fighting tomorrow,
hmm
um, I look forward to this match. I didn't know about Marina too much prior to her coming to AEW. Uh, I will say this though, I'm glad that the whole her and Rhonda thing was a one up. I'm glad.
yeah,
I'm glad she has not come back. They said she didn't sign with AEW. I said honestly, I think it would have been a bad business move. She have said nothing but not so nice things about wrestling. And
well,
you're going to sign her to another wrestling company? It doesn't quite make sense to me.
yeah. There was stuff circulating that she did it just as a kind of a fuck you to WWE. I'm not sure. Like, I'm sure she
She
got
said
bags of
that.
money for appearing,
She said
but
that. She said that, but it's like, does TKO care, ma'am? Because you're mad with TKO not only because of WWE, but because of UFC.
yeah,
Ronda, they did not care. They did not care. They did not bat an eye seeing you there. Um, I think that was probably the one thing that both WWE and AEW fans could agree on, and that was we did not want to see her there.
yeah.
Um,
She's back doing her stuff anyway with Gina Carano soon. So
yes, which
yeah,
I think Gina's going to win, but we'll see. We'll see.
very good.
Um, so next we have the Casino Gauntlet match to find out who is going to be the new TNT champion after Kyle Fletcher had to relinquish his title due to an injury.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm sure you're going to have everybody from Champa to Claudio
Everybody they can fit
to
in.
Orange, Khan, pretty much everybody who will kind of fall under as mid card will
Yeah.
be a part of that match. Hey, girl, hey.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
So I am definitely looking forward to seeing that match. Of course, I'm biased. I would like to see Orange win.
Yeah.
Um, or I would like to see someone from the Hurt Syndicate win.
Probably a
Sheldon,
great possibility of that too.
Bobby, someone like that. So I will be looking forward to that as well. Chris Jericho, he has his first match. It's been a couple of months. Of course, we thought he would have popped up at WrestleMania, but instead he has a match
Yeah.
against Ricochet, and he brought back
His
his
list.
old character. Yes, the list.
Yes.
So I know Chris Jericho is probably kicking himself. He really wanted to come back to WWE. Tony was not going to let him out of his contract.
Do you think
And
so? Do you think he was kind of that way?
absolutely. I
Yeah.
think Chris Jericho wanted to come back. He wanted to come back. Um, we could see it. He was starting to work out. You
He looks
know,
in fantastic shape
you
now.
do. He looks in really good shape.
Yeah.
And
Like,
just the fact that you had John Cena retiring, you had AJ Styles retiring, you had Goldberg come back, you had Brock Lesnar come back.
yeah.
I think it was a matter of seeing a lot of old faces, like CM Punk, like different people who was around the last time he was there, and just being back in his, what I would still consider his home,
Mm-hmm.
WWE. I absolutely do think that Chris Jericho wanted to come back, but now that we know that he has uh, re-signed to AEW, a new multi-year deal,
Yeah.
I'm sure the money was pretty nice. I'm
I
sure
would
the money
imagine
was
so.
nice. Yeah. So
It probably means he won't get any kind of a farewell tour further down the line with WWE. Was he mid 50s now? So
yeah. Uh, well, I don't know if it was the money aspects that convinced him to stay in AEW. I don't know if it was a matter of, sorry, Chris, we just don't have room for you here.
yeah.
We're trying to build up a lot of the younger people.
Are they?
You know, I mean, I feel like they are. I feel like
Yeah.
they are, but at the same time, it's like, you have Trick, who's in his early 30s. You have Oba, who's in his 20s. You have Javon, who's in his 20s. All three of them is going to be in WrestleMania. They've only been called up just a few short months ago. But
Yeah.
at the same time, you still have to take care of your older wrestlers like the Randys, like the Romans, the CM Punks, the Codys, the guys who are 40 plus. You have to take care of them. They're still in the business, and they still sell tickets, and
True.
they still have a large fan base who is going to wonder, where is my favorite wrestler, if you decide to take them off TV for a couple of months.
Speaking of fans, though, and I'm not a fan of Ricochet, who Jericho's taken on. So,
Yes. Well, um, you know, there's no excuse for what Ricochet said,
mm,
but people have said worse. People have said worse,
yeah,
and they're still being reminded of that to this day. So even if they're gone, even if they even if they have went to the land of beyond, they are still being reminded of the things that they have said.
true.
Ricochet will continue to be reminded of the things that he said.
Yeah,
But
he's just not a likable dude. So I feel anyway personally,
now,
But,
now, people ain't have no issues with him when he was in WWE. He was quiet. You
mm,
know, he was the high riser. He was the one that did all the really cool flips and had a really nice highlight reel.
yeah,
But he's taking on this character as a heel. And before I get into other heels that is going to be on that card who have said some not so nice things, MJF,
oh
who still
yeah,
continue to
yeah,
say some not so nice things. Um, it's just a part of being a heel. So, he apologized to
Well,
the lady that he made the comment
yeah,
on. It kind of annoys me that someone had to tell him to apologize to her. That should have been a given, but he did apologize. We cannot take that away, but we can also
yeah.
expect he's probably going to say some more.
I I think though, I think the art of being a heel in modern day is kind of lost on some people too, because well, that's a conversation for another time. I think people might be a little bit too sensitive in, in terms of what heels actually say nowadays compared to like years ago what they got away with. And that was the whole point of being a heel, getting incredible heat and stuff like that. But anyway,
Absolutely.
that
Yeah,
is something we could go into in more detail at another stage for sure.
absolutely. Well, uh, for someone who I've considered to be an extremely great heel, this is my way of segueing into the next match.
Uh
You
huh.
have FTR
Yes.
versus Cope,
Edge and
Cope,
Christian.
Cope, and Cage, or
Mm-hmm.
Edge Christian, as we both know it. I kind of hope that they take the titles at this point. At this point, I hope so. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's true. Please don't quote me on this. This is alleged, but I'm assuming that Adam's career is wrapping up this year.
Wow. Again.
So, I mean, he's been in AEW for a few years now,
Uh huh.
and he has suffered two major injuries that have caused him to sit down for a little while. So I
Yeah.
guess those injuries have reminded him, you're not you're not the Edge from
He has young
2000,
kids too.
you know. Yeah, but he got fragile bones, is
Yeah.
what I'm saying. So, I would like to see him walk away with at least being able to say, I've had the tag team championships one last time with my best friend in AEW. I can retire happily. I feel like Christian, he'll be around for a few more years. I don't see him leaving anytime soon. But I do feel like Edge is
Yeah.
getting ready to wrap it up.
Christian still looks to be in amazing shape,
Yeah.
also. So I think he could go for another few years easily.
Well, I don't know if this is true, but seeing as how he has to play a father figure to a
Hmm.
lot of these fatherless wrestlers, and he's clapping all of their mothers, it probably keeps him young, you know.
That's true. Yeah.
Probably keeps him young. He definitely said that if they was to win the titles, he is going to sleep with Stokely's mama. So that should be quite interesting to watch. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to that. Hey Brandon, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. So now we have the Young Bucks versus Okada and Japanese Beyonce Takeshka. Um, well, you know how I feel about Takeshka. I honestly hope that he blacks out and just beat Okada's ass during this match. Honestly, he's been messing with Takeshka for months now. I'm tired of it. Um, Young Bucks don't even have to do anything. In fact, Takeshka could just walk out of the match and just let Okada get jumped.
Yeah.
I would be here for it,
I need
honestly.
to I need to I need to catch up on some of that stuff.
Yes, yes, there is this budding feud between these two. They absolutely hate each other. Um, but yes, I would definitely love to see uh, that happen. We
Yeah.
need that match to happen. Stop putting
Okay.
them in tag matches. They hate each other. Just let them fight it out one good time, or two, or three. And
They
sometimes
might save that for All In at London later this year. That I'll be at anyway.
they need
We'll,
to. They need
yeah.
to. And I don't want it to be just a one-up match. I want it to be a feud. I want it to be quite a few matches between them
Mm-hmm.
two. I think it's long overdue
Okay.
between them two. Um, then we have the AEW Women's World Championship, Tekla versus Jamie Hayter. Um,
Yeah. Just
I don't see Tekla losing the title.
another fine example of the female wrestlers that AEW have at their disposal. Though I think.
Yeah, they definitely have world class wrestlers
Yeah.
in their women's division. It's unfortunate that they only get in two matches. It's unfortunate. You have a TBS champion in Willow
Definitely.
Nightingale.
Yeah.
You could have her in the match. You have Lena Cross and Megan Bain as your tag team champions. They could have a match as well. So,
And it's
but
funny you mention all those names, and all of those ladies are at WrestleCon next week. They're, which is amazing. I've seen them advertised, and I think it's fantastic. AEW have a lot of their wrestlers there that weekend over the 4 days. So it's great.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, but as I mentioned before, that it's a problem within both companies.
Yeah,
Like I can't pick one over the other. It's a problem within both companies. Yeah. Um,
for sure.
and it's just like Mimi said, but I can't.
They could
I
probably benefit from a female only pay per view similar to Evolution, something like that.
and look how long it took for us to get the second one.
Hmm.
You know, look how long it took. Now I distinctly remember that when a certain CEO was coming to AEW, things was going to change within the women's division,
Yeah,
and for the most part, it did. However, it seems like it, it it seems like they always start off with the right message, which is we understand that our women are good, they're great, they could probably fight better than the men. We're gonna put them in more matches. We asked for more titles. We got the tag team titles. But it's just not, it's like they'll give us the titles to kind of pacify us, but you're not really sitting there and trying to figure out how can we showcase the women more.
but
You're
it's
not
nearly
doing it.
just tokenism, then, isn't it? Like it's just, oh, we'll give you the titles, we'll tick a few boxes, but they're not actually giving them the time that they deserve. Now it has improved. It has improved in recent years compared to what it was back in the day, but there's always there's always room for more improvement.
And the same thing with WWE.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
and
four
even
matches.
a lot of
Yes.
indie stuff too, though, Megan. It's a lot. It happens a lot in the indies also. I think.
Mm, I don't know. I
Yeah, it
mean,
depends on the promotion.
I could say it definitely depends on the promotion,
Yeah.
absolutely. But you know, either way, I'm looking forward to this match. I'm about 99% sure Tekla is walking away with the title. Um, and Jamie's just gonna have to wait a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
The next match we have is Andrade versus Darby Allen.
Yeah.
Um,
How do you see that one going?
I already know Darby is going to put his body on the line for this match. So
He always does, though.
I'm looking forward to it. You know,
Yeah.
I always have like this little inside joke between who is going to bleed first between Darby and John, seeing as how they both are bleeders. They
Yeah.
like bleeding in their matches. Um, but
He's surely a guy, though, Darby Allen, that his career is not going to be seriously long, or much longer, because of the, what he puts his body through all the time.
yeah, well, you know, one can only pray. One can
Mm.
only pray that he continues to have a successful career without suffering from any real injuries that could um, prevent him from having that lengthy career or, you know, affect his health outside
Yeah,
of the wrestler's
definitely.
ring. So, you know, but Darby is definitely one of my favorite AEW wrestlers. I like watching him. I like watching his matches.
No,
Like
he is.
I'm
He's
never
cool.
bored watching him. Um, then we have John Moxley and Will Ospreay for the AEW Continental Championship. Um, I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't know who's going to take this. I don't. Um,
It's
if John
yeah,
retains, it'll probably be by the skin of his teeth because I feel like Will is ready to take that title off of him.
and two totally different styles. Also, it'll be very interesting. Like Will Ospreay, I always enjoy his matches.
Hmm.
But just that, like you were saying about Darby Allen, I just think Will Ospreay, um, that high flying kind of stuff he does, and I just I just find him fantastic to watch. It's like a throwback to some of the guys in the past, that would have loved watching the high flyers through the years. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's always a pleasure.
Will is definitely one of those wrestlers that I'm glad that he chose AEW over WWE simply because I have seen so many wrestlers currently, Julia,
Hmm.
Mariah May, Blake Monroe, um, who have who have seemingly diluted their wrestling styles because they're
Yeah,
going against other wrestlers who don't necessarily have the same wrestling background as them. And I feel like if Will would have went, they would have expected that from him. I've seen a lot of his matches not only in AEW but when he would wrestle in Japan,
yeah,
and I said to myself they would have never allowed him to do half of that stuff
yeah,
in
yeah. That's
WWE.
true.
So,
Sometimes it can be, more detrimental, I guess, to their career to go to WWE, and even though it's always seen as the place up on the hill, the big platform, whatever. It's not always the best.
it's what Ricochet said.
Yeah,
This is what Ricochet said, and a lot of people got mad with him. According to our favorite websites, a lot of people in WWE got mad with him because of that. But it's his right to say. We know what WWE requires of their wrestlers. We know
hmm,
what they allow them to do. And with AEW, some people might feel like it's more reckless, but it's just a different type of wrestling style. I wouldn't
yeah,
say it's more reckless in AEW. However, I have seen some shit in AEW that I probably, even at my grown age, will never recover from. You know,
yeah,
especially
yeah.
in their pay per views.
Definitely with
But
Swerve. I remember there last year, Swerve Strickland and
that was
um,
nothing. That was
Moxley and
nothing.
everything.
That was nothing compared to the MJF and Hangman match
Uh huh.
when MJF stuck a syringe
Oh yeah, yeah.
in
Jesus.
Hangman's cheeks, and it went
Yeah,
through. And it went through.
that's nasty.
So, but it doesn't stop me from watching it. Like I know what I'm getting when I watch AEW, so I'm prepared. But there's just some things that you kind of miss when it comes down to wrestling that you used to get in ECW and
Yeah, there
GCW.
is a massive market for even like death matches, all those types of things, and
Yeah.
I think they incorporate some aspects of that into some of their matches. Some of the ECW, it's like a throwback to that also, and that always had such a cult following, as we know,
Yeah.
and you know that's what attracts a lot of people to it.
Yeah. I mean, um I went to an indie show, Circle 6, last year.
Yes,
Got to
yeah,
see my first death match in person. It will make a believer out of you. It will
hmm
definitely make you reevaluate the folks who say wrestling is fake, because
yes,
the
yes,
things that you
indeed.
see in person is not fake. And people are really walking array, holding their limbs in place.
And what would shock you even more is if you saw what they get paid for their night of doing that, which would
Absolutely.
be sweet fuck
Absolutely.
all. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah,
But when you are in it for the game
hmm
and your love for the game,
exactly.
sometimes you just see past that. But of course, uh, the show is going to wrap up, so we're talking 5, 6 hours later. We finally will get to the main event match, which is the Devil
Yes.
MJF versus the God of Pro Wrestling Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship. Now, I know that MJF had the title for a small period of time.
hmm
Hangman took it off of Samoa Joe. MJF returned, ended up taking the title off of Samoa Joe. Um, Now he has it, and of course, Kenny is back. Kenny haven't held the title in several years,
Yeah.
and right now it will probably be very rewarding if Kenny was to walk away with the title. I don't know. It's very
Yeah.
hard to say. I feel like, in my personal opinion, I feel like MJF is going to hang on to that title for a little while.
He's really he's really hot right now, I guess you could say, but I still don't think it'll do him any real harm if he loses, like given the stature of Kenny Omega and everything and the
I
history of
want
him.
Kenny to win. I want Kenny to win.
Yeah.
I want Kenny to win. I want him to take that title off of this scumbag. Like, I want everything to be right in the world of wrestling, with Kenny leading AEW to glory as the champion. Um, but it's like you said, right now MJF is on fire, and as much as we hate to love him, we love to hate him, and
Do you reckon Kenny is kind of nearing coming towards the end of his career?
I will hope not. They keep making mention of his illness, so
hmm
I will hope that that's not the case. Um, but you know, we're getting up there in age, so it
Yeah.
might be time for the folks of our age bracket to kind of look into where do we go from here,
True.
you know.
That's it. But look, I think overall it's going to be a very interesting pay per view, and then we of course we have a few short months before they have their big one over here, so a lot of things will be set up, from coming out of this, no doubt. But
Yeah,
what time is that at again over there? I can't see with the graphic, but
I think it will start roughly about It starts at 8.
Oh, eight.
So,
Yeah, so that'll go on till about 5 in the morning then. So
oh yes, take your naps. Um, load
yeah,
up on your energy drinks. You
brilliant
know,
stuff.
but you know how AEW do it.
Well,
You,
that's it. They give the money's worth, I guess. When you
yeah,
buy a ticket for the brilliant stuff.
absolutely. So what do we have next?
What else has been happening?
Uh,
This has been happening.
man, listen. Do you see the sadness on Cody's face? That's how I felt. That's how I felt the
Um,
whole segment. I said, look at what y'all did to my champion that got him wrapped up in this bullshit.
do you not think though that Pat McAfee? I understand he's in there. Nobody wants him there, and especially not this, squaring off with Jelly Roll and so on. But how he delivers his promos is actually not that bad. And some of the shit he's saying is, it's interesting as well. It is very nostalgic in some ways, throwbacks to the 80s, 90s kind of thing. But it's just he's so out of place here. And I think I said to you off air that like Randy Orton is nearly like a support act in his own main event as a result of this.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense. No one,
Mm.
I don't think anyone has said that what Pat McAfee said was wrong. It's just misplaced. It's coming during the wrong time. You know, you had this feud. You've been teasing it at least since Cody has come back.
Uh
Well,
huh.
let me fix that. It's been since Cody has won that title. You have been teasing this feud between him and Randy. Now we have finally gotten to this point where you didn't need to add anything. You didn't need to do any writings. You didn't need to sit in a kumbaya circle and try to figure out how we're going to make this story stick. You didn't have to. You didn't need to. What you should have trust was in your champion and Randy to be able to handle this feud the way that they would have been able to handle it.
Yeah.
Why? Because not only are they friends in real life, but they have that history. They know how to feed and bounce off of each other. By you
But
adding Jelly and Pat, you muddied it up for no reason.
but do you not think? I'm just putting this out here, like that they're building towards whatever, um, looking past WrestleMania. So I'm going to stick with this. I think something huge is going to happen, and there's a couple of reasons for that. Like, first of all, there's a lot of rumors, a lot of different things, and even the likes of Jr. was speaking about it this week. He fully believes, like, Vince McMahon's name has been dropped on a couple of occasions now in recent times. They didn't mention him at all for a long time. Okay, now I understand some new information has come to light in the last couple of weeks also. However, I think he may be involved in some way, or there's something going on behind the scenes to try and introduce him back. And whether that's as some kind of a faction, whether they're trying to set this up, TKO versus WWE, whatever. There's definitely something that would, whether Cody is going to turn, some kind of a double turn at WrestleMania, where he's going to join some of these guys. I don't know. But it's like they were struggling to sell tickets, right? They bring in Pat McAfee, and then all of a sudden he's announcing 25% cuts on the WrestleMania tickets. It just it's bizarre. Some of what he said, like, was quite bizarre. You know.
Um, well, two things. One, I don't think Vince is going to get a get out of jail free card like Teddy Jr. did.
Mm.
He's still very much his case is still very much active. I don't know if that's going to go away by next weekend. But
No, it's
if
not.
they are somehow trying to tease that by WrestleMania 43, when they're in Saudi Arabia, that somehow
Perhaps.
Vince could be around during that time. Well, then, then that's that. But for what I see, y'all always, I feel like my boy is being harassed. That's how I feel. I feel like Cody is being harassed because from his WrestleMania Redemption tour, as I called it, when he was able to face Roman once again and this time defeat him, you had The Rock mingle in that.
Yeah.
A year later, you had The Rock wanting his soul and somehow turning John Cena heel, leading up to John and Cody at WrestleMania 41.
No,
Now
no
here we
real ending to that either.
just John won, Cody lost, soul intact, but he was able to regain his title at SummerSlam.
Mm.
Now again, this is Cody's fifth main event since coming back at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
This will be his third year where he is having some higher up, some higher being, higher power just lingering around during his championship match. And I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out if this is going to ultimately lead to him
Well,
turning heel or
that's
are
the
they just
thing.
fucking with him?
It's it has cheapened this main event between him and Randy Orton in some ways by bringing the likes of Pat McAfee in, unless it's to feed some much bigger story that's coming.
But you didn't sacrifice a story that was 20 years in the making for a for
For
a
something
cheap
bigger.
a cheap because we're gonna call it for what we're gonna call it for what it is, for a cheap pop with TKO versus WWE. Like this couldn't
But it
have
may
happened
not be that,
any other
Megan.
time.
Like,
Oh, but that's what it's building up to. You have both of your top champions throwing shots at TKO. You had Cody come out. He told Pat and whoever he's working with to kiss his ass. You had CM Punk come on Raw and he's talking about the ticket prices. And again, he's going after TKO and Pat McAfee. Then you have this SmackDown where you have Pat coming, but Cody is being warned that higher ups, somebody
and we've also
above
got
this,
CM Punk involved. So Punk has
but
been,
you
yeah,
still have this higher being protecting Pat. So we see where it's going. It is becoming a WWE versus TKO thing. Did it have to happen during this feud between Cody and Randy? No, it did not. Because how is it helping Randy in any way? How is it helping him?
well, I noticed McAfee mentioned something during his promo. You don't want to miss the Saturday night because it's once in a century what's going to happen, which to me would mean something huge. And for it to be huge in WWE right now, the only thing I could really think of is Vince's music hits and he struts down that aisle. And I don't care what you say, the roof would blow off that place. Um,
You'll be
because
there, so you'll be able to confirm that.
Yeah, because I've said it before, it doesn't matter what the man does or allegedly has done. you will always get the core supporters that they'll worship him no matter what. Now, I've said it before. He done amazing things for wrestling, but he was also at other things behind the scenes, too. So, and it doesn't make him a wonderful fella because he was great for wrestling. But you, if he comes out, if he appears, that place will go mental.
That's still not feeding my question on why did it have to happen during this feud.
Now, having said that, maybe nothing happens. Maybe this is all more crap. A
Something is
new
going to
era,
happen.
another new era.
Something is going to happen. And it might not be necessarily Vince, and this might piss people off.
Could be
Because it
Ari
might not be,
Emanuel comes out.
exactly, it might
Yeah.
be them trying to push Ari into
Mm-hmm.
the position of Vince. Either way, it did not need to happen during this feud. It
Yep.
did not. Because now you got people not giving a fuck about this this match. You now have Randy, like you said yourself, playing second fiddle to Pat
Yeah, and it's
McAfee.
it's disrespectful, I think, to Randy Orton.
It is.
Given the caliber of Randy and like he's fucking Hall of Famer in the make. You know what I mean? It's just it's ridiculous.
And
Um,
and it's like you had Stephanie come and she said, Cody, listen, you don't really know who you fucking with. You're gonna have to put, you have to put your armor on. This is a different type of Randy. Even though it kind of was condescending, because it's like if anybody knows what type of Randy this is, it will be Cody, you know. But I was hoping that at least with Stephanie being involved, maybe it was a way of bringing Shane back.
do
Maybe
you do you think it's maybe Shane McMahon is involved?
I would I would like for it to be Shane. I thought it was Shane that was talking to him on the phone, and in fact they brought us Pat, and I still cannot forget
Shane McMahon would have made more sense than Pat McAfee.
100 times. But if Pat McAfee is playing as an errand boy, if Pat is supposed to be the mascot
Hmm.
or the face or the puppet, and the real puppet master will be revealed at WrestleMania, then okay.
I think I
I
would have
guess.
preferred Hornswoggle even to Pat McAfee.
Now you know, they would not have. The fans would have been literally throwing their TVs out the window. But this is what I'm
Well,
saying.
he's Vince
So,
McMahon's son, wasn't he? Hornswoggle.
mm, hmm, wow, we
Anyway,
remember that storyline. But
yeah.
I just I just don't feel like it was. You sacrificed. You sacrificed a really good story to do this,
And
and I hope it pays off. Overall, that's what I'm saying. I just hope it pays off.
do you not think that they're covering themselves with many possible storylines by having Punk involved with his pipe bomb on Monday and how he mentioned McAfee and then McAfee his response to him last night also like it's nearly setting up with war games in mind, Survivor Series, like that we're going to have the teams like getting set
Yeah,
up already
but
for that.
I think they're building it like a corporation
Hmm.
type of thing, which again will be TKO versus WWE. And yeah, you might end up finding some wrestlers who will fall under uh, Team TKO. Those who, you know, love TKO to the fullest, where you're going to have the real wrestlers, the professional wrestlers who is going to stand, kind of like back in what 2022,
Yeah.
2002, with the whole WWE versus ECW and WWE, Shane and Stephanie versus their father. It could build up into something like that. Maybe that's what they're doing.
Visions of John Laurinaitis coming out. Um,
And he needs to keep his ass wherever he's at,
mm,
honestly. You know, but it feels like that's what they're building up to, and I feel like that's the reason why they brought CM Punk in it, because you are building it for the top wrestlers to see what is going on from the inside
yeah.
out, and they're using their voices to speak out against it, even though it doesn't really affect CM Punk. It affects Cody, which
Yeah.
it always leads back to Cody,
Well,
you know.
my
So
opinion at the minute is right because they've announced the full card at this stage. Maybe there's another match there that we think could go in with the likes of EO and so on. Um, but between the two cards that they have on paper, those two nights look fantastic, right? That they could potentially be one of the best manias, in recent times for sure. Having said that, they could really fumble this with the shit that they're doing now at the minute.
it's
Um,
getting there.
yeah,
It's getting there. They will really have to pull the biggest magic trick of them all. And I'm not going to say that WWE does not have the capability of doing that, because they do. Right
hmm
now, the fans are complaining, they're not happy, but they're still tuned in. Their main focus is they want
but
it's box office.
there's such a fall off, Megan, and we spoke of this before. Like every Monday in recent weeks after Raw, you feel WWE has turned the corner, and you're feeling good, and excited, and then we hit Friday night, and it's like this is shit. Do you know what I
Well,
mean?
I mean, but like I said, it has happened before. It
Yeah.
has happened before. And we are unsure until the end of the PLE, and then we're like, damn, that was actually pretty damn good. It could be, this is what we are more than
Oh,
likely leading up to. Like,
definitely.
we don't
Definitely.
necessarily know what the left hand is doing right now. So, yes, they're probably feeding into the fans bitching and complaining, me
And
being
they
one
will
of
have
them.
perhaps two or three possible directions that they will go in, down to the last minute, depending on how things work out. Maybe night one will feed into night two, whatever happens, so it's yeah, we just don't know until it all plays out. And then of course you'll have the Monday night Raw after Mania where they usually have something go down there. So yeah, remains to be seen.
Yeah.
But yeah, just going back to the card itself and the matches. Like I said, I do think there's some fantastic ones there. There's probably an opening for another match, like we said, but there's something around the Bella twins. I think one of them's carrying an injury at the minute, and they might be
Maybe.
holding off there. Yeah, for the Kabuki Warriors to step in if required. Um, but I'm going to say Julia. I think she has the US title at the minute, the women's. I think it's a real waste because like she's not utilized at all. I would love to see her or Kiana James even involved in some way because I think Kiana James has been very impressive. Anytime I've seen her. Um,
Yeah.
a lot of people might say Tiffany Stratton. They would have been expecting her to appear. Uh, I don't know about that. Like I think Julia is a better wrestler anyway than Tiffany Stratton. It's just my take on it, but yeah,
Well, don't want to be that person, but not everybody is going to be in WrestleMania.
They
Um,
can't be. No.
and I don't want to be. Well, actually, I don't care if I'm that person because I'm not really a big fan. I'm not sad about Tiffany not being in WrestleMania. I'm not. I'm not sad about it at all. Um,
She's hugely popular though.
she ain't popular to me. I don't like the character development with her. You know, maybe it's because I'm still bitter because I kind of wanted Charlotte to win last year. Maybe that's where the bitterness still kind of sits with me.
Yeah.
But um, from what I see, she's having a grand old time at Coachella. So I don't think Tiffany is really sad
Seems
about
her
her
social media,
situation.
yeah, is much livelier these days. But yeah, look, I'm sure there's reasons we don't know if it's probably all going to be part of WWE Unreal next year. There's probably lots of content there in the background that they're putting together for that. But yeah, look, I know we were to try and go through predictions and everything tonight, but um, there's not really a lot of time for that now. We'd be here all night
No,
doing it.
but I will. Well, I guess we could just like run through it and figure out who's going to win. I guess
Well,
we could.
th-
Oop,
oh, there
sorry.
we go. So night two is on the left there, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and
So,
night one is yeah the right.
okay. So we do have the six-man tag with Speed, Austin, Logan, the Usos, and LA Knight.
Yeah,
Um, that's during the first hour of night one. Um,
yeah. I just think
honestly,
the matches in the first hour they're not really. That's why I was wondering about night two there, Lesnar and Obafemi. But anyway, we'll get to that. Sorry. Back to the 6-man tag.
yeah. Um, I'm probably gonna go with the Usos in LA.
I think
I don't
so.
really see them
Yeah.
losing.
I don't
Um,
really know what direction there is for division at the minute. Everything kind of fell apart there with the guys getting injured and so on. And I mean, Paul Heyman hasn't even been turning up with Theory and Logan Paul in recent times. He's focused on Brock Lesnar, which is so obvious as well. It looks a bit weird that he hasn't been, But anyway, that's how it is. I show Speed. I have no interest in that character at all. Um,
why?
I just, I, I don't. It's probably an age thing, It's probably younger people relate to him maybe a bit more. I just don't find him interesting or entertaining. But that's how it is.
Yeah.
I
Now
like LA Knight.
I'm a little confused as to why Drew's and no, actually I'm not. I think I understand why Drew and Jacob would be within the first hour. Um, it's to probably to try to get more eyes
Well, that feud
on
started
the first
strong
one.
to build up, but I don't think it's been as tense in recent weeks, because it's taken a back seat to the other shit that's been happening. And yeah, and here it ends up on first hour, but that's ESPN has a say in what's happening there too.
Yeah, but I do notice that they have been kind of teasing who was it that's supposed to have attacked Jacob,
Yes,
um, with Solo bringing that up and kind of
that's right.
hinting
Yeah.
at Tamatanga. That's probably the next feud. That's probably going to be. I don't know what's going to happen with Drew after this feud, but it looks like it's leading up to.
Is Drew going to
Um,
take some time out? Perhaps. I don't know.
I don't
Like,
know. I don't know.
I just I really do like him, and I think he should be still in the title picture in some way. But anyway,
Maybe on Raw.
yeah,
Go ahead. Like you could go and fight Roman again for the title, because
yeah,
still want you in that story with Cody no more. We had to
There
leave
you
it that.
go.
But I'm definitely going with Jacob. I would hate that he lose. What would this be? Would this be like his first WrestleMania? Was he at WrestleMania last year?
No, he was there. Was he? He was there last year, wasn't he?
But he didn't have a singles
Was it
match.
against LA Knight last year?
Either way,
Yeah.
I'm rooting for Jacob in that situation. Now, what I wasn't too crazy about is for them to bunch up 3 out of the 4 women's matches on night one.
Yeah, it's trying to. It really is. It it's a little bit lopsided, for
You could
sure.
have put me personally. I probably would have put Sammy and Trick for night one.
Yeah, I don't. I actually thought night one looked a bit stronger when I first saw it announced, and it would probably help to move one of the ladies match. They're not going to do it now at this stage, but um, maybe swap Sami Zayn and Trick Williams for the Becky Lynch and AJ Lee or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But you know, um, for the women's tag match,
Lyra and Bailey for me anyway. That's what I'm going for.
I think I see Lash and Nia retaining.
Retaining. I just think because Bailey missed out last year and the circumstances around that. However, I do have a feeling that there's still going to be something between her and Lyra, do you know? But I also think there's potential for Alexa and Charlotte to have an issue with one another. So, yeah, we wait and see. But I'm going to go for Lyra and Bailey with that.
Okay. Um, of course, AJ and Becky.
This is a difficult one to predict.
AJ's retaining.
You think so?
AJ's retaining.
You think she's going to hang around for a while?
She signed a multi-year contract. She's
Yeah, but
retaining.
that can be in an ambassadorial capacity too, you know.
She didn't sign a Legends deal. She signed the same type of contract her husband did.
Mm, okay.
She's retaining. I do not see her losing her first WrestleMania match in 11 years.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
no.
I'm good. Okay, I'm
Um,
gonna go.
and
Becky's.
this
Yeah.
would make Becky. If Becky was the one, she would be a 3-time. I think she would be a 3-time um, Intercontinental Champion. I
Already.
believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, no, I don't see her. But if
Do
they
you
do,
do you think that there's a possibility of somebody returning during
I
that
would, I
match?
would like, I would like that. I would like that.
Yeah.
They kind of hinted at certain people.
There's been names mentioned. Yeah.
We thought maybe she was going to show up at WrestleMania. I mean, Royal Rumble, she didn't. She wants
She's
to
been
come
doing a
back.
lot of training.
Yeah, and she wants to come back. So yeah, absolutely. I think that would definitely gag Becky.
Yeah.
I think it would gag her. And was that not AJ's last match? Wasn't she in the match with Paige?
I want to say, yeah. And there was
So
Caitlin also. She mentioned recently, and I liked her too. I thought she was good.
yeah,
Um,
so I could see AJ definitely retaining. I do not see her losing. I do not.
yeah,
Um,
I'm gonna go for interference there, and she'll maybe win then as a result. You know.
yeah.
Um,
But see, you can't have too many interferences because I do think there will be an interference, or at least I will hope there is one for the Rhea and Jade match. You know, a certain
Oh,
EXT
I know who
wrestler.
you're hoping. Yeah,
Yes, this I am still hoping.
I'm just wondering how many returns they could really have potentially, and like Kevin Owens has been cancelled altogether from his weekend, even photo opportunities and things. I've seen it online. He's not going to be at Mania weekend. But
So we say,
he hasn't been cleared anyway. I don't believe for doing anything. So,
here's my thing: if someone was medically cleared,
uh huh.
would they announce it before a surprise return? Because if you allow the fans to know that they are medically cleared and can fight, they're going to be looking for them to be there. But if you do not announce that they are medically cleared, like how they did with Seth,
Yeah, but it's down to the photos. You know, WWE World. That's all been cancelled. Like Kevin Owens was supposed to be there for that, and that's that's all been kiboshed as well. You know what I mean? So it's um, they
so
wouldn't go to that.
you really think WWE will not cancel an appearance?
No, because it's money, isn't it? Like so. Well, they don't give refunds either, so people have to get something
Well,
of
I
the
think
same
yeah,
value.
I think they would. If it came down to Kevin showing up, let's say if he is somehow involved in the Cody and Randy match, let's just say hypothetically, there's just a lot of things that could give it away that he will be involved at
I love
WrestleMania.
Kevin Owens, right? I love him. I don't think he's a big enough name to be involved in that match.
Are you kidding me?
I don't.
Kevin is the one that started the whole friends turning on
I
Cody
just
thing.
don't. I just don't think. Like I get that. I get it. I get all of that. And as I've said many times before, talking to you, Megan, like I have great time for Kevin Owens. I love what he's been doing. I just don't think WWE would place enough on him to be involved in this in that way. I think they have
But
something
but
else
but
planned.
but they're gonna put Jelly Roll and Pat McAfee.
No, and even I even thought they might get the DiBiase Jr. involved, but I don't think like he's certainly not. Like he's been well publicized in recent times, fair enough for other things he's been doing, but and he doesn't even look in shape anyway to be involved. But
If
he is going to be in
if
Vegas.
WWE, listen, I understand that TKO is about money. I get that. I think
Mm.
we all have discovered that in the last 3 years, TKO is about money. I wouldn't expect anything less from a man who has pretty much became a global mogul in Los Angeles, working with Live Nation, creating his own agency, WME. Like I know a little bit about Ari, so I wouldn't expect anything less from him. But I also will hope that if he has any type of desire to make this company that he now owns a success, he is going to listen to the folks in WWE who knows wrestling and understand their fans. This is what I will hope. And with that in mind, the whole adding these celebrities into the story because that is your lane, working with these celebrities,
Hmm.
it's not working.
No,
It's not working.
I don't want to see Jelly Roll involved. I don't want to see Pat McAfee involved, but they're
But
going to be.
but if we had to choose between one of the two, I can understand Pat. He was a commentator for WWE. Like he
Hmm.
has some sort of ties to the company. You know, even though it doesn't make sense for him to be involved in this, the overall like character that he's doing right now, it makes sense. It does, because he was on the inside. He was a commentator. So it makes sense. It just doesn't make sense in this
No,
particular story. However,
no.
if someone like you said, like a Vince, okay, you bring Vince back. Say you bring Vince back. What do Vince have to do with Cody and Randy? What is the big what is the plot line in adding Vince into this? What would he add to it?
You tell me. Like, I mean, it. All it could really be is leading to this kind of a authority or higher power type thing, And I really
And it
don't
could
know.
be. I mean, and that well enough could be. I would thought that that would fit more for CM Punk and Roman. Roman is what, the cousin of The Rock, who is a board member. He's a part of TKO. You have CM Punk. CM Punk hate Vince. CM Punk is like the prodigy son who has come back and shook shit up since he been back. It will make more sense for that to happen in that story. You
Mm.
can make it work. When it comes down to Cody and Randy, it doesn't feel right unless you're either making Randy a puppet or you're coming after Cody. It doesn't make sense.
Or
That's all I'm saying.
unless we just get what we want, like Batista shouting and roaring, "Give me what I want." Cody as a heel.
I mean, it that's what it's gonna lead up to. You didn't have to do all of this to make
No,
Cody a heel. You didn't have to. All you had to. Someone said something, and I said, you know what? You're absolutely right. Cody and Randy haven't had now one-off promo against each other this whole feud.
no.
Not one. They had the contract signing, and then Randy beat Cody within an inch of his life. Outside of that, Cody has been chasing after Randy, and Randy kind of been dodging him.
Yeah, it's been terrible in that regard.
This is the Viper. The
Yeah,
Viper is running from Cody.
yeah. Doesn't make sense.
You know, so
But
if
when you put the two of them in the ring together, there's no doubt if they're let do what they do, it would be a fantastic match. However, I just hope that it's not ruined by silly fucking shit like Jelly Roll and Pat McAfee being involved, and chances are it will be.
aren't we supposed to get some sort of tag match between the four of them for Backlash?
Jesus Christ, no, please.
So it's not quite over yet.
No,
It's not quite over yet, but it's like the y'all hinted that whoever is involved in this, let's just say Pat is just the mouthpiece. Let's say Pat is just the spokesperson for whoever was really on the phone with Randy. Randy hinted that this person has ties within wrestling.
mm-hmm.
He quoted Cody's phrase in the beginning of his song. So you hinted that whoever this person is has some sort of ties within the business. Second, maybe third generational wrestler. So of course you have The Rock. You have all these stories coming out. Oh, The Rock is busy. The Rock is about to film these two movies. His 2026 schedule is all booked up. He won't be at WrestleMania. Who's saying this? Dave Meltzer. Dave Meltzer could tell me the sky is blue. I'm still not going to believe him.
Well,
But
he like he'll be fed whatever they want him to hear
and
anyway.
he'll feed it. And he'll feed it to us. And this is why you have to take everything he says with a grain of salt. That's one person. You have Ted DiBlasi. Now, you know, will he get a big enough pop? Probably not. The younger generation might not even know who he is. Okay. Can you have Shane? You could have Shane. Again, people will say, how does this make sense? Well, this is their way of writing Shane back in. You didn't have his sister come. She was rooting for Cody. Then you have Shane come and he'll root for Randy. It makes sense, brother and sister going against each other again. Now, then you have Vince. You have Vince. Doesn't matter what was the purpose of Vince being there, just the fact that Vince is there is the story within itself. However, Vince is still he is still in the middle of an alleged
But also,
case.
this is night one, and I was talking to a friend during the week. I was saying about this, like if Vince were to appear, I don't believe it's going to be night one. They would want something really hot on night two, leading into Raw after Mania. Do you get me? Like,
Well, we thought that was SummerSlam too, but SummerSlam had a banging first night,
mm,
and then we had an even banger second night. I, f- I always felt like with Triple H in charge, he likes to pull the rug underneath our feet. I think he
what,
gets,
making things
yeah,
shit.
I think he gets a kick off of pissing us off. I think he do. I think he feeds off of it.
Well,
Because
I think
he
things have changed in recent times for him because he's
did
getting
it.
booed quite a lot in his press conferences after these events, and
You
it's
see his
really
face. You see his face. Does it look like Triple H care about being booed?
he probably just looks at the bank balance on the phone. It doesn't bother him then, you know.
He was one of my favorite bad guys during the Attitude Era. I don't think Triple H care about being booed. That's the fans online who think that disliking a video 100 million times and booing him and
It's
sending
all
him death
publicity.
threats and stuff, they think that that affects him. That man has said and done so much fucked up things. I don't think they don't understand it. He don't care.
Yeah,
That's you got the wrong person. You want somebody to care? Go talk to Tony Khan. Go sit there and tell him that his product is shit. That man will fall to pieces. Triple H ain't losing no sleep. He's not. He ain't even losing no hair. He don't care. You know. But the fact of the matter is, I feel like he feels he knows wrestling better than we do. And for the most part, he might. He might definitely know
yeah,
wrestling better
yeah,
than us. So, I think he sees it as, look, they're going to be mad about it. Who cares? Because at the end of the day, they're going to love me for what I got planned for them. So let them boo now. They'll be happy with the result at the end. So yeah, I feel like Triple H do like to figure out how can I piss the fans off this week.
yeah. Well, look, we'll have to wait and see. I guess we'll know this time next. Well, not quite this time, but it'll be next week. And we're like, there's another match there: Stephanie Vaquer and Liv Morgan. I'm really looking forward to because the build up to that has been getting, has been intensifying as the weeks have gone on. So much so that Roxanne and Liv got a serious head clash there this week, um,
Hmm.
as well as part of that. But look, it's really really good. I'm like I said, I'm looking forward to it. I think should be a good one.
So who you got to win?
I think Liv Morgan will win it.
Yeah, I will go with Liv too.
Yeah,
I will go with her. I envision something else happening, but I'll go with Liv winning. I
I
don't think it's
was
over between her and Raquel though.
I was thinking even her and Roxanne something to come too, but probably not on that night. But yeah, I'll go for Liv to win.
Yeah. Now, as of course for the main event, you know who I'm rooting for.
Oh well, I'm gonna say Randy. I think he's gonna have to get number 15.
I think Randy kidnapping that belt and taking pictures in it, he jinxed himself from winning. I'm thinking Cody's probably going to end up retaining simply because of that. I think that just gave it away. It's not very often that someone steals a belt from someone.
But that means then
And
we'll have to have a different outcome for night two. Then,
why?
well,
I've always thought Roman was gonna beat CM Punk. I've always thought Roman was gonna win.
you think so? Yeah.
I absolutely
Okay.
think Punk is losing that title. Yeah,
Okay.
it's unfortunate, but I don't see Roman not winning that title. Not not closing the show at WrestleMania. No, Punk is
Okay.
losing
I'm
that
going to go
title.
for Punk to win that night two.
Yep.
Yeah.
But as for all the other matches, I'm pretty much open to whoever wins and loses. I kind of hope that Oba does not lose his first WrestleMania match. Of course, if this is Lesnar's last or coming into his last WrestleMania matches, I can kind of see why they would want him to win.
A bit torn with that one. I,
I Brock
I,
don't need the win. He doesn't need the win.
he doesn't, but because of how, now having said that, said it last week, he has been doing the business and putting Oba Femi over in recent times. So, um, it might just happen. I think, yeah, Obafemi could really benefit from a win at his first Mania. One I'm really excited for, but I think they kind of ruined the surprise was Finn Balor, and the Demon. You know, it would have been nicer if he had just appeared that night,
Hmm.
as the Demon. But look, we know we're getting it now. I
Yeah.
would love to see him beat uh, Dominic Mysterio. I don't know. It's like Dominic's so hot as well. You know, as a wrestler in the company,
Hmm.
it's a difficult one. But I'm going to go for Finn Balor.
Yeah. Um, I don't see Demon Balor losing to Dominique. I
Well, yeah, it will kind of once again be pointless. You know that he came back as the demon, and then
to
just
lose.
yeah,
Yeah, I think sometimes the results is to these matches are pretty obvious. Um,
unless
the,
JD McDonough gets involved, you know, also. But
and it's
um,
like you.
he's doing his own thing though in the ladder match. But
Will hope that he doesn't get involved.
yeah,
Will hope he don't. But I could possibly see Liv, seeing as how they had both of their matches on two separate nights.
yeah,
I could
definitely.
definitely see Liv getting involved, or even Roxanne, since Roxanne is not booked for anything. We'll
Yeah,
never
it's a
know.
definite possibility.
Yeah.
But we'll find out. And what do you think of Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley?
You want to
Rhea,
know my
surely.
fantasy booking idea?
Hmm.
Okay. So, if by some chance they still decide to have the Bella Twins a part of the four-way tag match, how I would have it would be Io coming into the corner of Rhea, and maybe having Jade come out by herself. Now, if they could somehow convince us that Meechin and BFAB got tore up so badly that they couldn't be involved at WrestleMania, I think that will feed into it. However,
What, make a triple threat from it?
oh yeah, I here.
Do you not think there's it's a bit over the top, the friendship, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, that
I don't
it's
have no.
inevitably gonna end up at some stage the two of them
I
clashing?
don't have no comment on it. I'm not crazy about them two together. I'm not. It doesn't nothing for me. I feel like
Yeah.
you
It takes from that
just
aura
go back.
of Rhea Ripley, really, doesn't it?
It goes back to last year.
Mm.
You had Rhea, who was the champion. You had Bianca, who won Elimination Chambers. But then you had Rhea, who had this obsession of never beating Io. So she decides to defend her title against Io,
Yeah.
and she loses. So
Now they're
now
best friends.
WrestleMania is Io and Bianca. Somehow, Rhea finessed her way into that match, making it from a regular match to a three-way match, and Rhea still lost.
Mm-hmm.
Rhea lost, Bianca lost her streak, and Io retained the title. Now they're BFFs, and Bianca's been gone for over a year now, close to a year.
Yeah.
So, in my mind, Bianca should come back. Now, whether you set it up to where she's helping Jade, that's besides the point. I
That
feel
wouldn't
like
make
she should.
sense though
It
either.
would. It would. But she needs to have a story behind why she's helping Jade. She's not helping Jade because Jade is her best friend. She's helping Jade because these are the two women who took a year from her career. It's very much like
Mm.
Liv and Rhea when Liv got hurt and she was gone for 6 months and she
Yeah.
came back. It's very much like that. And that's how it should be. So if Bianca was to come back and she helped Jade retain, it's not because I'm helping you out, it's because I don't want her to have it. Now, if they don't do it
Yeah.
that way, then I can see Rhea, winning the title. But it's like, okay, so Rhea gets the title. Now what?
Yeah. This is it. Like I. Yeah. I don't really know what to say. Any.
You
To
know,
add anything additional to that because I just think the friendship between the two of them, between Rhea and Neo, it's just it's a bit over the top.
to me, so we're just leaving it behind that you during your time in NXT and during your time in the main roster, you still can't defeat Io. So it's a if you can't beat them, join them type of thing.
Mm,
And we know Rhea has a tendency of turning on people. So at what point is she going to turn on Io? Maybe somewhere down the line. But in my mind, the way they have spoken about Rhea having, chronic back pains and stuff,
uh-huh.
maybe she needs time off. I could see them writing her off after this WrestleMania so she can heal.
Yeah, she
Because
hasn't had
Rhea,
a
she has
break in a
not.
while.
She has not. Rhea has been there she has been working her ass off. I have to give her that.
Yeah,
She is definitely one of the toughest women on the roster. If this is her way of taking some time off by her and Bianca kind of overlapping, I would like to see
possibly,
it happen.
possibly. Yeah,
And then at some point we could have Bianca and Jade at some point. But let's
maybe
not rush
next
it.
year in Saudi.
What?
Maybe next year.
Derek. You gonna have these two American black women have a match in Saudi Arabia?
You never know.
You know they hate us in them other countries. What are you talking about? They boo
Well,
us
look.
all the time. This is
Yeah.
facts. Anybody that's watching this, please put it in the comments. Y'all know Naomi goes out there, she got booed. Bianca went out there, she got booed. Jade
Yeah, but
also
look. I
went
mean,
overseas, she got booed too. I would not put them two in a match against each
but
other
there probably won't be room
in
for
Saudi
them because
Arabia.
the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels and Triple H and John Cena will all be fighting anyway. So the Saudi money will be
Shit, John Cena. You saw John Cena. John Cena said he retired.
until
He's retired.
the
He
Saudis put up the money.
uh, no. I think John has a little. He has
Ah,
he
yeah,
has
no, no,
more.
I do like John Cena. I'm only saying like the, we could see the Undertaker yet coming back.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But
Mental.
I'm just saying, let's not rush the Bianca and Jade thing, because y'all been literally edging us over Bianca and Rhea for years. For years, we still have not gotten a championship match between them two. We still haven't gotten a real singles match between them two. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't even rush Bianca and Jade. But when it happens, just don't ruin it like y'all have Randy and Cody. Please and thank you. Like,
And that
don't
leaves
ruin the
us
crowd.
with Sami Zayn and Trick Williams. I have no time for Sami Zayn at all. And I'll continue to say that. His character, like he's probably a lovely guy, but he was booed out of place last night on SmackDown.
I love that Randy. Not Randy. I love that Sammy said he don't care. I don't care either, Sammy. I'm still rooting for you. I am still the
No.
president of the Sami Zayn fan club. That is my ginger brother. I'm rooting for him every step of the way.
He'll
However,
probably win this anyway. But
no, no, no. I think Trick is winning.
I
I think
hope
Trick is
so.
winning. I think Trick is winning, and it's going to lead to a Sammy heel turn. That's what's going to happen.
Okay.
Sammy's losing, and and I feel like that's the. I don't know why they took him and I don't know why they took the title off of Carmelo, because if your plan was to give
Oh,
the
it
title to
makes no
Trick,
sense.
it should have just been Carmelo. I don't know why
And now he's not involved at all. Do you know it's that's crazy. But
at all.
yeah.
But when I saw Sammy win, I definitely felt like he's gonna be a unfortunate transitional champion.
Yeah.
He
He
was
just
getting it to just hand it
Melo
to
was just
Trick.
shafted. That's just how it is. But I I think Sammy will win it. That's just I don't know why. I just have this feeling like I just can't stand the man. But the character, not the dude himself. But yeah, I think he's going to win it. And then we have the ladder match. Really like Penta. Um, Javon Evans, very exciting. This will really suit him, I think. This ladder match. Um,
Um, you had a missed opportunity by not having Ray Phoenix in this match.
hmm,
Like, how can you not have this man face his brother? How long is it going to be before you have them two face each other at some point? You keep them separated.
yeah, yeah. I would
Now,
now. I'd really like. I'd love to see JD McDonough getting that push. I don't think it's going to happen though, but it's another match that could really suit him. I think. With Javon Evans, yeah, I just have a suspicion he might win this.
they would put the title on Javon. Um, I would like that. However, I have a feeling that Ray is about to wrap up his career too.
Okay.
I feel like Ray could walk away with that title. I
Yeah.
feel like he could. I feel like Ray
I
could.
think he might just be there to enhance the other guys, and to uplift, in that kind of capacity. I think he's one of these guys. It doesn't really matter as such because he has been doing a lot of that. He's been
Hmm.
helping out. So I think for that reason, and Javon is only coming through. He's very very young. I think perhaps yeah he might win it.
Hmm. I forgot. Before we talk about the CM Punk and Roman, we actually did skip a match. Seth and Gunther.
Oh yes,
Seth and Gunther. Um, well, seeing as how now Paul owes Gunther his life, um, I don't. If there's somebody that for church, it might be Braun Breaker.
Well, I hear he's cleared,
Hmm.
but I don't know. You see, you don't where you hear these stories from. It's another thing. There's you know they can be bullshit, but um, do you think the favor is Gunter getting Brock Lesnar?
Um,
Maybe it's SummerSlam.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It
But
could
either
be.
way,
It
even just
might
with this
be.
match, um, I like they've been building Gunter up so much, but also Seth Rollins, like it's quite hot at the minute with the whole Vision thing and coming off of that, his return. Yeah, I don't know. This is a hard one to call.
I'll put it this way. You have Seth, who said he never lost his title.
Mm-hmm.
Seth, CM Punk, and Roman was in the main event last year at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
You have Gunther,
lost last year. Yeah.
who out of the four of these men is the only one who never worked with Paul.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only one. The favor could well enough be that Gunther wants whoever wins that match between Roman and CM Punk, and he wants Paul to politic for him to get that match. Which I
Possibly.
think that is still going to continue the feud between him and Seth because Seth wants his belt back. So I think that is the favor that Gunther wants out of
Okay.
Paul to make sure that I get that title opportunity. You make sure I get the title opportunity and I'll get the job done.
Yeah.
But I also feel like there is a story left between Braun Breaker and Seth where Seth was the leader and Braun eliminated him and pretty much took over the vision. And Braun is going to want to get his lick back with Seth. So that's why I feel like at some point Braun Breaker is going to come back.
Mm.
He's going to come back.
Oh, he's
And he's
he's
going to
definitely going to be
cover
back
Seth.
sooner rather than later. He's not going to be out for that long,
No.
and he could very well turn up at Mania.
It'll be the time. It will
Yeah.
definitely be the
Yeah.
time to show up. And,
Certainly.
you
Look,
know,
there's like we said earlier on, the cards are very strong for both nights, and if they play things right, this could turn into one of the better manias. But we'll just have to wait and see.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so. I'm looking forward to it. Um, and we'll see where it goes from there.
certainly. And yeah, I'll be there. I'll let you all know. You'll be all
For
watching
the
it anyway.
second year in a row. For the second year in the row.
Yeah, yeah, but that'll be it then for like because there's no way I'd be going to Saudi or anything like that. And but yeah, be nice.
It might change. It might change. I mean, we were supposed to be in New Orleans this year.
Yeah.
It might change. You
No,
know.
it's exciting now, I have to say, because I'm going to the Hall of Fame also, which I'm really looking forward to. I know that could be quite a long night, but yeah, exciting times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looking forward to hearing all about it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I mean, that's what it's all about. It's just experiencing these things, and there's nothing like it when you're there, and all the other fans, and getting to interact and
Yeah,
meet loads of different people and get their perspectives and opinions on things. And yeah, it's fantastic.
definitely. Definitely. Well, it has been a very interesting conversation.
Certainly, yes.
And
And I want to thank everybody that's joined us and listened to us babble on about wrestling for a while.
yeah, definitely. And you know, y'all don't have to be afraid to throw your opinions. You know, if y'all don't agree with our perspective of
Yeah,
these different storylines, please feel free to leave a comment, or we'll flash it on the screen
by all
and we'll
means.
respond to it. Um, you know, of course, I like to gut punch Derek from time to time because you know he's pretty easy to tackle. But at the end of the day, you know, we're just wrestling fans who
That's
just
it.
like watching wrestling,
Yeah,
and you know, we'll see what happens. But of course, I feel like my ideas are a little better. You know, WWE haven't hired me yet, so I don't know. You know, I don't know.
yeah. We'll
But
keep plugging away, and you never know. Uh,
yeah, because
you're in the land of opportunity and land of hope and freedom and everything over there. So
for now, for
yeah,
now.
yeah.
But
So
things can definitely change. Knowing how things are operating, things could change. But
yeah.
you know, yeah, you know, it's just sometimes you just gotta spice shit up a little bit, you know. So
Definitely. But look, we'll maybe try and get something even 30 minutes or something next weekend at some stage over before or after one of the events. We can do maybe a live or something like that, and maybe from direct from somewhere over there in Vegas. We'll see how it
yeah,
works out.
definitely.
Just to give some people maybe a taste of what's happening. Anyone that's not there, but yeah, we'll see.
All right, guys, we're
Thank
gonna
you
let
very
you
much,
go.
everybody. Much appreciated. And we'll talk to you all again soon. Take
Bye.
care.